Good morning, my loves. Happy Sunday. Beautiful Sunday here at the lake. It's like 9:15 or so. Currently 84, high today is 102, so it has cooled off. The last few days it was 104 and 105. Okay. It's a little overcast. It's not overly bright out today. I think it's going to cool off a little bit more, which is kind of nice before we get the serious hot weather of 116 and 118. It's going to happen, it's just a matter of when. I spoke to someone recently, and it was just a very, very sad, just absolutely tragic event that happened in their life. And it boils down to, therefore the grace of God go I. Because you never know what's going to happen in life. You never know. You never know when you're going to get that diagnosis. The day I was told I had breast cancer, I did not expect to hear that. Surprise, there you go. The day I had a heart attack, I was in my early 30s. Valentine's Day, I had a heart attack. When I lost my daughter, I never expected to lose my daughter. But it happens. Life happens. And this individual's spouse called me, just so distraught, just absolutely devastated. A few months back, her husband had gotten an amazing promotion, a vice presidency, and he just absolutely thrilled. And of course, there was a party, and everybody went and had a really nice time. And she met everybody there at the restaurant, and it was just lovely. They had a lovely evening, lots of champagne and lots of toasts, and it was just, she said it was just a magical evening for them. And he was going to meet her at the house. Well, he had a little too much to drink, and he hit somebody and charged with vehicular homicide. And now this person is in prison for vehicular homicide. It turned their world upside down. This doesn't happen to them. Well, honey, it can happen to anybody. She kept saying, but this doesn't happen to people like us. Yes, it does. Obviously, yes, it does. Because it just did. She said, well, his legal fees is going to wipe out some of the bank accounts, and yeah, that's what happens. You may have to sell the house if you can't make the payments. You may have to liquidate some stocks. Talk to your accountant, talk to your attorney. But honey, it can happen to anybody. Life happens to all of us in the blink of an eye. I deal with a lot of families, and a lot of people, more recently, I think the past year, maybe it's just coincidence, but people are reaching out to me with loved ones that have been newly diagnosed with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. And, I talk to them as a family. I talk to the individual that has been diagnosed because it's devastating. They may be young. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're in their 80s. But it's still very scary, because it's like a ticking time bomb. It's going to go off. It's going to get worse. The outcome, but you don't know how fast it's going to happen. What's your life going to be like, on this trajectory? Some families will say, don't worry about it. We're going to take you in. It's going to be okay. You're just moving in with us. And we have that conversation. And it's really hard for some people to acquiesce and say, okay, I have to move in with the kids. It's going to be okay. I don't want to give up, all my freedom, but maybe I need to. For men, I think one of the hardest things for men is giving up the keys to the car. That's very emasculating, but sometimes you have to do that. Once in a while, there's a family that is just, they don't care. They don't care. They've been given the referral, usually by somebody, one of their doctors or a nurse or somebody, to just talk to Brenda. Just talk to her. Okay, I'm up for it. And they'll say, we really just don't have time for this. We don't have time to take care of them. So we're just going to put them in a facility. And a lot of people do that. They will just park their loved ones in a care facility, in a nursing home, and never look back. That's it. That, to me, that's cruel. That is just awful. I don't know their family dynamic. They may or may not share that with me. But wow, that's no different than just sticking somebody in prison and walking away. It's just so sad. It's so sad. But therefore the grace of God. You don't know what's going to happen in your life. You just don't know. I do a lot of consulting with law firms, and from the medical standpoint, because I have my consulting business, and I do case reviews for personal injury, medical malpractice firms, pharmaceutical, drug issues like the Roundup issue, some asbestos work. And I love what I do. It's fascinating. And I've done that, 15 or 16 years now. And it's just a nice little side business. But it's so sad because you see things happen to people, the car accidents, the motorcycle accidents, somebody's driving down the street, somebody runs a light and they become a flying frisbee. And they have, they break their neck, skull fractures, pelvic fractures. Maybe they're dead at the scene. Maybe, they're in a vegetative state. You don't know. So like I said, it's there for the grace of God go I. And I want everybody to just take a few minutes today and think, kind of get a little game plan. Talk to your spouse, talk to your parents. If your kids are in their 30s, I would say 20s, but 20-year-olds I would not have this conversation with. If your kids are in their 30s or older, have the conversation with them. Discuss what might happen if tragedy hits. Fires hit, tornadoes. I was raised in the Midwest, and wow, lots of tornadoes. I cannot tell you how many tornadoes I have been in living in Kansas. It happened every year. Okay, it's just life. But how many people lost their homes, lost everything due to a tornado? If you live like in New Orleans, flooding. The East Coast has their hurricanes. People lose absolutely everything. Please come up with a game plan. Just think about it. Come up with a game plan. What would happen if somebody was, received a horrible diagnosis? Do you have insurance for catastrophic injury? Think about it. Look at even your vehicle insurance, your car insurance, your motorcycle insurance. Is it just liability? A lot of people just have liability. That's kind of stupid, because if you're injured, you want your car insurance, motorcycle insurance, to cover your injuries as well. So think about that. You can't depend on the other guy and their insurance, because what if they don't have insurance? It happens. People lose everything. You're injured. You get addicted to pain meds. I see that a lot. A lot of people just get really stressed and they'll start smoking weed. Weed isn't cutting it anymore, so they'll go to something else, and then to something else, and to something else. Yeah. And they end up losing everything. I personally, firsthand experience, my ex, brilliant attorney, absolutely just scary smart Stanford grad. Brilliant attorney. Ended up addicted to coke and meth. Lost everything. Walked away from all of it for drugs. That's heartbreaking. That was his choice. Okay. That's on him. And yeah, it left me devastated in more ways than one, but that was his choice. It's his problem. It's his life. But it's sad. You don't know what's going to happen. Come up with a game plan. Talk to your kids. If you don't have a will, please make a will. Just come up with a game plan. I guess it's the nurse in me, because especially being a surgical intensive care nurse back in the day, you always had plan A, B, and C. Always. You always had a backup plan. It's just how we roll. And I want people to be like that in life. If you have kids, you need a will. You need to figure out, if something happens to you and your spouse, who's going to have the kids? And make sure it's somebody you can trust. And somebody that's going to be long-term, not somebody that, I work with this person and they seem nice. No, this is your kids. Think about it long and hard. And even your pets. If you're older and you have pets, I have Finn, the cat. If something happens, you need to plan and talk to somebody who's going to take care of your pets. Think about that. Come up with a game plan. I know when my dad passed, He had already pre-planned his funeral. He had every detail down. I mean, every detail. Okay, that helped so much. And he felt in control all the way up to the end. He was in control. Allow people, please allow people to maintain their dignity and a certain amount of control in their life, even if they have to move into your home. Allow them a little, I don't know, a little dignity. We all deserve that. But please think twice before you just park somebody in a nursing home. Look around your neighborhood, your community. How many people do you know in your church, your synagogue, your temple? How many people do you know, older people, that don't have family? Family doesn't come visit them. They never hear from their kids or grandkids. Think about that. Therefore, the grace of God, you never know. You just never know. And if you do encounter those people, you could be their extended family. There's, just be a friend. Drop in on them. Take them something to eat. Go for coffee. Offer them a ride to the store. Pick up their prescriptions, just whatever. Because, honey, they're for the grace of God. We don't know. You just don't know. Just something to think about.